So there was one thing that helped me. There's one thing that actually quickened is the word, quickened my healing. After going through years of narcissistic abuse, there was one thing that quickened my healing was understanding that I wasn't dealing with a normal, regular person. That is number one. And more so, I understood that I wasn't imagining things. Have you guys been in those relationships and you always thought, maybe I'm imagining something, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe it was me, maybe I should have done this better. I was trying to, sometimes you struggle with yourself as a victim. And you're hoping that there is something else you could have done. You could have worked out in a different way. It could have worked. Only for you to figure out that there was nothing that was working. So for me, the first thing I refused to understand, I didn't even want to hear it, was that whole thing they called personality disorder. I didn't want to hear it. Personality disorder, it is something that people can hear. When you're reading the books and somebody tells you, oh, son, this one has a personality disorder. But even then, let us assume it's a personality disorder. Why isn't it taught in schools? Let us assume, okay, even if you want to tell the people it's a personality disorder, why didn't they teach these things in school? Why don't they teach our kids about their so-called disorder in schools? Do you know the reason why? Because narcissism is demonic. And I don't want you guys with the psychologists to come around and start telling these things of spiritual bypass and everything. Don't we have already had those ones. We know what's going on. You know what you read in the books, but we know what we saw. There's a difference between something that you've read in the books and had some sessions, whatever, coaching, or what do they call it, training, and there's something you have seen. It's not the same thing. So even if you want to say that it's a personality disorder, NPD, whatever they want to call it, a disorder, why isn't that so-called disorder taught in schools? Why is it the one missing in the syllabus? If you guys went to school and you had your teachers talking about NPD in primary school, whatever, I want you to come and tell me if you heard about those NPD things. Come and tell me. There is supposed to be an entire syllabus on NPD in school, so people can know and protect themselves. Because this thing is demonic. This whole thing is, back in the years, many years ago, it was people used to talk about demons in the Bible. Sometimes you go to church and sometimes the church's leaders will talk about the demons. You read about those things in the Bible, and you would think that, and you're going to think that it ends there in the Bible, that's demons and whatever. You read about those demons, that Jesus cast out those demons and this. You think it ends there. Only for you to realize that those demons, they actually manifest in people. Regular people like you and me. When you walk around, you can sometimes meet a person that is possessed. But you see, the thing is, as much as the world tries to tell you everything else, there is something they will not tell you. So this information, I don't understand why these things have been kept very secret until we started to wake up. Because you see, one of the things you realize as an empath who has been involved in abuse, one of the things you realize, it is that spiritual warfare that woke you up. You understanding narcissistic abuse and narcissism and whatever, that is what woke you up. Many of the empaths are waking up after going through abuse. So it's a trigger. So don't you really think that if everybody knew about abuse, everybody would wake up? We're just trying to brainstorm because, we already know that, these truth channels are usually being, those guys, they're usually fighting these truth channels because we tell you as it is. That's the thing with the truth teller. You say it as it is, okay? So you're now starting to look around. You've woken up. And everywhere you look, there's a narcissist in the corner. You look left, there's one. You look right, there's one. There's one on your left, there's one on your right. In your family, you see one of them, maybe two. You go to school, there's a teacher. You go to your church, there's a bishop, there's a pastor. Look at these bishops who used to those pedophiles. The pedophile, how do you explain those things? How do you explain a pedophile in church? And you're talking about the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you have a pedophile in church. So how do you explain those things? It's time to wake up, guys. It's time to wake up. This whole thing this whole mess has been going on for too long. It's time to wake up. The madness that you see happening around the world, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even no more talking about demons. We are simply talking about narcissists. You see, in the olden days, back in those years during the Bible times and whatever, people used to have the word demon. It was easy. That's what people would realize, because they didn't have a proper word for this whole thing. What was this madness? So in the Bible times, many people talk about narcissistic abuse. Many people who wanted to refer to narcissistic abuse for this present day conversations used to talk about demons. But you see, what is really happening is that the world evolves. People evolve, and we start learning things. We start educating ourselves about more research and more this and more that. So as the world evolves, the words that we used to use many years ago, they fade away. Okay? Those words fade away, and we start to understand the concept in the present day time now. And what we realize now is that the narcissism, we know as narcissism, is what they used to call demonic. The demons in the olden days. There was no psychology in that time for people to study those things and whatever. They had their own different way of education. Okay, but now, as we educate ourselves, then we find a name for it. So it's where I give credit. There I give credit for, whoever discovered that word, or wherever it came from, because of course the word came from somewhere. Somebody put a name to it. You don't just tell me that those narcissism, whatever, it just came out of the blue. If somebody put a name to it that we are still using at this moment. So that's why I give the credit to whichever scholars put the name to it. But for the ones who have been fighting that battle, the warfare, we already know is demonic. Is why you hear people telling you that the narcissist cannot heal. They cannot recover. They cannot break out of this narcissism. It's not possible. It's not possible that you won't wake up one day and you will find a healed narcissist. And they're going to tell you that, I used to be an ex-narcissist. It's not possible. Because this thing is spiritual, It's spiritual. If it was meant or whatever, like they say, there would be a way to heal it, but it's spiritual. That's why they cannot heal it. So, because you cannot explain to me, how does a narcissist get black eyes? A person looks at you and you see these black eyes, Some things that you cannot explain, and then you're going to think that you're glitching. Because you see, one of the things when you're dealing with these narcissists and everything, those demonic things, you're going to glitch. A moment is going to come and you're going to glitch. So by what happens when you glitch is that there comes that moment whereby you glitch and you can look through what is going on, like on the really spiritual dimension, on the really spiritual level. You will glitch and you will know what is going on and what has been happening. Your mind will glitch. That's when you see the black eyes, you know. For me, it was something different. So other people have been seeing the black eyes, you know. It's spiritual. It is spiritual warfare, ladies and gentlemen. This whole thing is demonic. And when you understand this thing is demonic, you break the codes. Because you see, let me tell you something. There's nothing. The reason why I call this channel the truth, because the truth is a code. We can go in the whole video on that anyway. The truth is a code. It's a code which will open and unlock certain frequencies. Your mind, a certain level of consciousness. It's a code that breaks through an illusion. So for me, that is exactly what broke me out of the trauma bond. Me realizing at the time that I had been battling demons. That's how I broke out these trauma bonds and everything. I have never gone back. Did you know how many people are going in circles, therapy after therapy for years, and they are still sitting down with somebody who is telling them about a personality disorder? There are many around the world. Oh, I was in abuse, domestic violence, and all those kind of stuff. The BS. And people are still believing that they're dealing with a personality disorder. Oh, your husband has got a personality disorder. So when you go back home, try to talk to him like this. Try to fix this like that. Try to mend it like this. They are pushing you back into the toxicity, the BS. So you're going in circles. Because somebody told you that's a personality disorder. So you're going in circles. Yes, the vampire is siphoning your energy on a regular basis, and they say the therapist is sending you back in that toxicity. Oh, you know, you can try to fix it like that because, you know, it's domestic violence. Your husband can go to get therapy. They can go to get help somewhere. They are pushing you back in the BS, and you're dealing with a demon. Truth is a code. Truth is a code. Is the reason as to why you see a lot of people who are living in illusions, who have set up these illusions. They fight very, very hard to make sure that nobody gets to understand these things. It's why they don't teach you these things in school, because they know the moment you start to uncover the spiritual mechanism of things, you're going to wake up. There's no other way you're going to stay asleep when you know the truth. It's not possible. A person goes to therapy for years, 5 years, 2 years. They are paying a lot of money in therapy sessions and whatever. Even the therapists have come out to tell you nobody has ever really healed. They can get to a certain level a little bit and, you know, kind of, you know, get comfortable a little bit. They have not healed. Therapists will come and tell you they have not healed. After years of doing therapy, they know that their patients have not healed. The only thing what used to happen, they used to go and put them on a seat, and then the other person will sit the other side and they are going to start talking. And you think a person is going to heal. And you're continuing to tell them about NPD and go back and fix that relationship, go back to that marriage. Because, you know, when your husband says this, you do that. That's not what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. It's not what we're dealing with. It is not what we're dealing with. Time to wake up. Do you know the reason as to why these truth channels are censored most of the times? You hear a lot of times they are fighting with these channels because we know we know the truth that is going on. We know. Shadow banning, whatever they are trying to ban, they are trying to fight with this truth. They know that we know. And the person that knows, you cannot help them unknow. You cannot make them unknow what they know, because they know. So what are you going to tell them otherwise? They cannot unknow what they know. It doesn't work like that. Somebody who has got first-hand experience of these demons, so you're sitting them and you're telling them about NPD. It's not possible. It's not possible, ladies and gentlemen. It's why you see a lot of you guys who are starting to wake up, especially after going through abuse. That is why you see a lot of warfare happening around you. The warfare that you cannot even grasp where it's coming from. It is coming from different corners because you know the truth. So what they do they start to stalk you, move around, and make it very difficult for you to live, because they want to put you back into that state of paralysis where you was mentally paralyzed for years, asleep for decades. So for a lot of you guys who are going through abuse, I know, I get it. One day you'll wake up and you will see these videos and you will understand, okay, so this is what it is, that is what is going on. So it will set you free. It is the truth that can set you free. There's no book. You're not going to be there reading a lot of books and thinking that you're getting so much information. You just need one truth. That's it. When it comes to narcissistic abuse, there's only one, ladies and gentlemen, there is one truth that is going to break you free. Understand what you're dealing with. That's it. The rest of the thing is going to work itself out. I've been healing for 5 years. But my healing was triggered by knowing what I was dealing with. I never went to therapy. I did not sit down with the therapist. I did not sit down with the psychologist. I just had to know the truth. That's what it is. So I knew the truth. Then I went ahead to confirm that truth. That's how I broke free. That was the magic, nothing else. So the ones who are waking up, I wish you a quick recovery. If you feel like it's necessary to book a session, maybe you're dealing with different stuff, you see an email in the description. I have an email there. Send me an email. I'll give you the details. And then for those of you who want to donate or support my channel, you will find the links you need in the description below, the GoFund or my PayPal. And of course, don't forget to like the channel, share, subscribe. You guys know I always love and appreciate the support. There's almost signing out, and I see you guys in my next one. Peace.